بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ألف لام ميم ذلك الكتاب لا ريب فيه هدى للمتقين.
Interpretation of the Holy Quran.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful. With the grace of Allah, we began to have a brief commentary of Quran. We were talking about some verses of chapter Baqarah. Chapter Baqarah is the biggest chapter of Quran, which is revealed in Medina. Please listen to verse 241 to 443.
وللمطلقات متاع بالمعروف حقا على المتقين كذلك يبين الله لكم آياته لعلكم تعقلون ألم تر إلى الذين خرجوا من ديارهم وهم ألوف حذر الموت فقال لهم الله موتوا ثم أحياهم إن الله لذو فضل على الناس ولكن أكثر الناس لا يشكرون.
And for the divorced women, provision according to usage. This is a duty on those who guard against evil. كذلك يبين الله لكم آياته لعلكم تعقلون. Allah thus makes clear to you His communications that you may understand. ألم تر إلى الذين خرجوا من ديارهم وهم ألوف حذر الموت فقال لهم الله موتوا ثم أحياهم إن الله لذو فضل على الناس ولكن أكثر الناس لا يشكرون. Have you not considered those who went forth from their homes for fear of death, and they were thousands? Then Allah said to them, die. Again He gave them life. Most surely Allah is gracious to people, but most people are not grateful. In previous verses, Allah talked about those women who leave their wives, who wants to divorce their wives, and they didn't choose anything for their wives. They want to divorce before touching their wives, before sleeping with them. And Allah said they should give something as a mata, as a gift to them, provision to them. In verse 236, Allah says, لا جناح عليكم إن طلقتم النساء ما لم تمسوهن أو تفرضوا لهن فريضة ومتئوهن على الموسع قدره وعلى المقتر قدره. There is no blame for those people who wants to divorce their wives while they haven't touched them, they haven't slept with them, and they didn't choose anything for them in particular. We said they can marry, but still they must choose something even after the marriage. So Allah says in that verse, still they didn't choose anything. They did not appointed a certain amount of money or some items for the wife. Allah said, وَمَتِّئُوهُنَّ. The husbands should give something, a provision to their wives, a gift to them. It is obligated. Here Allah says again, وَلِلْمُطَلَّقَاتِ مَتَاعٌ بِالْمَعْرُوفِ. Those who are divorced, they have something as a gift that the husband should give it to them. For the divorced women, provision according to the usage. To usage, it means something which is normal. It depends to the man's situation and to women's situation, their status, their rank, their positions. If their status is very high, more. If it is less, less. Okay, either we can say that this verse of Quran is talking about those who didn't give dowry or did not appoint a dowry for the women, exactly the same as the verse 234. These women, these men should give something as a provision. This is one of the idea. Or we can say that no, للمطلقات متاع بالمعروف. Allah wants to say for all the women, even those that are appointed. It means the men have appointed certain or a specific thing for the women as a dowry. They have chosen something as a dowry and they have given to the women. Still, he wants to divorce and is considered this lady as a divorced lady, divorced woman. For all, either you have appointed or not, you have given or not, you should know that divorced women should take something from their husbands. وَلِلْمُطَلَّقَاتِ متاع بالمعروف حقا على المتقين. According to this idea, as I said, all the women, any woman who is divorced should take something from her husband and it is considered as a gift. If with this explanation we can say this is recommended, as we understand from different narrations, this is recommended that in the time of divorce it is good to give something to the women, but it is not obligated. But the one that we discussed about it in verse 234, that if a husband wants to divorce his wife and did not appoint anything for her and did not touch her, then Allah said, "Matta'uhunna," give a provision to a woman, to such a woman. It was obligated. It was like dowry. But since they didn't choose anything, they didn't appoint certain things, Allah said, "Matta'uhunna ala al-musi'i qadaruh wa ala al-muqtiri qadaruh." A person who is rich according to his status, a person who is poor according to his status, wa mata'an bil ma'ruf, and something according to usage. After that, Allah says, كَذَلِكَ يُبَيِّنُ اللَّهُ لَكُمْ آيَاتِهِ لَعَلَّكُمْ تَعْقِلُونَ. Allah is telling you in such a way His communication and is explaining to you until the people start to think that what is good for them, and they will understand that anything Allah says, this is a good advice for them and it is better for them. When we look at different verses of Quran, like this verse here, Allah says, حَقًّا عَلَى الْمُتَّقِينَ. This is a this is a duty on those who guard, who have piety, who are righteous. It is duty for them to give something as a provision to their wife, as a gift to their wives. In verse 236, حقا على المحسنين. And also here, 241, Allah says, حقا على المتقين. حقا على المتقين, it means to those people who guard against evil. حقا على المتقين. حقا على المحسنين, it means in verse 236, a duty on the doers of good. And also 237, also we will see that Allah says, حقا على المحسنين. And also ولا تنسوا الفضل بينكم. And don't forget the gift, extra gift, to give them when you want to divorce. When we see these verses that حقا على المتقين حقا على المحسنين ولا تنسوا الفضل, don't forget the extra gifts, have a grace toward your wives, we will understand that Allah wants that if at most you are going to divorce and be separated from each other, separate from each other in a good manner. Give the respect to each other, give a gift to each other, and be separated. There is no need to fight with each other, to accuse each other. Sometimes we will see that they accuse each other in such a way that nobody could even imagine. Some accusation that we are positive that they are wrong. They want to destroy each other's life, which is wrong and it is not accepted by Islam. Then Allah says, أَلَمْ تَرَ إِلَى الَّذِينَ خَرَجُوا مِنْ دِيَارِهِمْ. You didn't see those people who left their homes, وَهُمْ أُلُوفٌ حَذَرَ الْمَوْتِ, and they were thousands. حَذَرَ الْمَوْتِ, they were running away from death. Regarding to the reason of revelation of this verse, a scholar says in different interpretations of Quran that there was bubonic plague in the city, a sickness that was threatening all the people, and many people died. The others ran away from the city, from this sickness, to save and protect themselves. Hazar al-Maut, it means because they were scaring of death. They were scared from death. They didn't want to die and they ran away from death. فَقَالَ لَهُمُ اللَّهُ مُوتُوا ثُمَّ أَحْيَاهُمْ. Then Allah said to them, die. And they die. When Allah says die, it means it is done. Even we said before, it doesn't mean that really it needs that Allah says die. Die. No, Allah's order, it means when He decides something. When we say in Quran, إِذَا أراد الله بشيء أن يقول له كن فيكون, when Allah decides something and says be, it is done. It doesn't mean that really it is necessary that Allah says be. No, even 1 second there is no need. 1 word is not necessary. It means when Allah decides, it is done. And here Allah said فَقَالَ لَهُمُ اللَّهُ مُوتُوا. Allah told them die, and they died. ثُمَّ أَحْيَاهُمْ. Allah gave them life again. Allah says وَهُمْ أُلُوفٌ. First, one of the question is, what was the number of these people? There are different ideas among the people, among scholars. Some they say there were 10,000 people, some they said 80,000, some they said 70,000. But uluf, what is uluf? Uluf is a plural of alf, and alf has 2 kinds of plural. One alaf, one uluf. Alaf, it can be said to 3,000 and more. But uluf is more than that. It can be 10,000 or even more than that. So a scholar said when it says ulufun, it means more than 3,000, more than like 7,000 or 10,000 or 80,000 people. They left home anyway. The number is not necessary exactly, it's not a big deal to know the numbers. They left and Allah ordered to die and they died. We have a narration that one of the prophet, whose name was Hazaqil, he passed and saw that many people died because of the bubonic plague, sickness, And this bubonic plague was a sickness in Arabic ta'un, that when it comes, many people die of that and many people passed away. And Hazrael asked Allah to give them life because it was a punishment for them. They were ordered to go to the war and they brought different excuses. They said, no, because there is a sickness here and there is a problem here. We have problem, different excuses. And by that kinds of sickness, Allah started to take their life. Prophet Hizqil asked Allah to give them life again, and he said, definitely many people are going to take a lesson and learn. Allah answered and gave life to these people. Then Allah said, إِنَّ اللَّهَ لَذُو فَضْلٍ عَلَى النَّاسِ وَلَكِنَّ أَكْثَرَ النَّاسِ لَا يَشْكُرُونَ. Allah helps the people. Allah has a grace toward them, but unfortunately many people will not appreciate it. Inshallah, in next section I'm going to talk about these verses more. Thank you very much for watching. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.